Pilate offers them the either-or choice. Do you want me to release Barabbas, or do you want me to release Jesus? Now, keep in mind, Barabbas isn't a robber. He's not a shoplifter. He's not a thief. He's an insurrectionist. He's one who is actually doing what Jesus has been accused of doing. And yet, when the moment comes to say, I'm going to release to you either Jesus or Barabbas, the crowd is so addled by their murderous intent, so blinded by their rage at God's kingdom breaking into the world, that they say, give us Barabbas and crucify Jesus. And here we sit on this night. And when we read the story together, we are participants in the insanity. When the moment comes, we hear our own voice saying, crucify him, crucify him. And that's the insanity of this old order, that we thought we were so brilliant that we could crucify God in the name of God. We could kill God in the name of God. How crazy and insane is that? That God himself becomes incarnate and dwells among us, who expresses his lordship, his rule and reign, not by conquest or by murder or by the victimization of his enemies, but by compassion and gift giving. And we thought the best thing to do with him would be to kill him. That sin-soaked, insane world that periodically bubbles up and confronts us anew in every new tragedy on the nightly news. The cross is the sign of contradiction that says, this must end. This old order of sin and rebellion and death must be brought to an end so that the life of God might be realized in its fullness among us. I talked last night about signs of contradiction, about the blood of the Passover lamb as a sign of contradiction, about the Eucharist as a sign of contradiction, about Jesus washing his disciples' feet as a sign of contradiction. But the supreme sign of God's contradiction of our contradiction, God's no to our no, God's no to our rebellion, our rejection, our brilliant thinking that we could kill God in the name of God, is the cross. That's why we follow a cross in and out of this place. That is why the cross is our standard. We are proclaiming that that old order has been brought to an end, and that we are people characterized by the rule and reign of the new creation. So we are made signs of contradiction, contradicting what appears to be this ruling, reigning order of sin, sickness, and death, proclaiming that Jesus is risen and that the life of the world to come has come in Jesus. So as you go out from this place tonight, clothed with the sorrow of the cross, recognize that it is also a sign of a supreme victory. That what Adam and Eve and all the saints of the ages were powerless to do by their devotion to Israel's God has been done decisively in the incarnate Son of God, Jesus Christ. The old order has come to an end, and a new order has begun in its place. And that's the paradox. We mourn the death of the Son of God, but we also mark it as the moment when victory is made possible. Amen.